Well, hello, everybody. And I should say, well, hello, better everydayers. So, what do I mean by that? Well, I know the reason you probably tune in here is you like to get better every day. And so, you're most likely a learner, is what I hear from a lot of you. And so, today we're going to pique your interest in a couple of options for you. And those are really all around you making the best choice for you with an idea that I encourage you to take action no matter what it is. And the two yin and yangs that we're talking about is, well, what's really better for you, a business roundtable and having fellow like-minded CEOs and business owners do the coaching, or a certified business coach for you. So to actually help you sort all that out today, I have brought on a trusted advisor of mine, Patrick Clancy from Focal Point. So welcome, Patrick.
Hey Dave, thanks for thinking of me. I'm happy to be here today.
Well, that's great. We're going to focus really on the personal business coach today with Patrick because information about what I do on business roundtables through Vistage is all available on my website and it's easy for you to access. But what I really want to do is spend the time today is taking a bit of a deep dive here on business coaching. So, Patrick, what's business coaching all about?
Huh. Well, it's been said, Dave, that a good business coach is a professional question asker. And what I do in my practice is work together with entrepreneurs and owners of small to medium-sized businesses primarily, and try to solve the problems that are keeping them up all night. What I find with the people I work with is most of the things they struggle with are result because they're out there playing center field. Basically, a small business owner is responsible for everything, and that's a big burden. In most of the conversations I have with clients and prospects, the common business issues tend to revolve around four different focus areas. It might be issues to do with time, teams, money, or strategy. So what do I mean by that? When we're talking about time, there's really never enough hours in the day if you're a small business owner. A lot of the folks that I work with struggle to get to their kids' soccer games. Many of them haven't had a proper vacation in quite some time. Um, they all put their heart and soul into their business because they want the best for their families. But the ironic thing is, by dumping all of that time into their business, the people that get hurt are exactly the people they love, their families. When we think about teams, many of the people I coach are really struggling with hiring in today's environment. It's a thing. They either can't get people or they don't feel like they can get enough out of the people that they manage to hire. Common complaints are things like folks that we hire don't work hard enough. They can't sell the way I used to be able to sell. They're not committed. We have high turnover. And to me, Dave, I don't know what you find in your experience, but for me, anything related to a team's issue is really a culture problem. Many of the business owners I work with get very deep into their business and don't really have the time to elucidate their values and their mission and their vision. And because they can't get that out and communicate it to the people on their staff, they struggle with that buy-in and that long-term commitment. So as a coach, we would help with exactly that, the culture point. Maybe the third of the four things we commonly see would be money. I mean, whoever has enough money, whether it's top line growth or bottom line profit, business owners are often sort of scratching their heads trying to figure out why it is that they work harder and less drops to the bottom line. To me, this is usually a focus issue, getting business owners to focus on their most productive product lines and how to focus their time so that it's delivering pure profit. Really, as you would have seen in your work, it's about working smarter. It's not about working harder. And I think the last thing we commonly see is strategy. And strategy comes about because even if you can manage to solve all of the today problems in your small to medium sized business, there's always the tomorrow problem. The tomorrow problem is, what's the plan, boss? And you notice that word boss is always there. That's the person who has to answer that. Whether it's having a 1 year plan or a 5 year plan or an exit plan, every business needs a plan. And the difficulty we see often is that the people we work with are so busy and so good at doing the do that they don't really have the time to develop that plan fully. And, days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, years turn into decades. And the next thing you know, it's time to retire, but you haven't really put in place the pieces that it takes to effectively transact your business to some other form, a different owner or what have you.
Gotcha.
So that's some of what we see and what we try to work with people on: culture, focus, plans,
Got,
hiring
gotcha.
issues.
You made me smile when you said things that keep business owners up at night. That's why we're talking about this, because there's a couple different ways that you can solve those problems. And so, from your side, how do you engage with the business owners in terms of meetings and what kind of, how does that work?
So typically we work on a one-on-one basis. It can be in person or by Zoom or some sort of electronic link. We meet for 60 to 120 minutes a week. It all depends on the availability and scheduling of the client. Um, and this is where the being a professional question asker comes in. A coach is not a consultant. We're not there to provide an answer. We're there to provide guidance and lead the client to bring his inherent knowledge about the business to the table and figure out how to move forward with their issue. So typically we meet one-on-one, often on Zoom, for an hour a week.
Gotcha. Any specific examples you can share? Some successes? I'm sure you've enjoyed quite a few successes in your coaching career here.
Well, I like to tell the story of a restaurant group I work with, and I say it because it really makes me sound like a good coach. This group, I'm such a good coach, Dave, that when I started out with this group, they had 5 restaurants, and today they only have 4. And that doesn't sound so good from the coach's point of view, but the profitability has gone up by about 50%. And that brings us back to focus when it comes to profitability. They were a bit spread too thin. When we got them focused on what they really needed to do to resonate with their customers and get aligned in that sense, the profit went up by by millions of dollars on an annualized basis. So it works.
Great.
There isn't a business we haven't had a meaningful impact with.
Well, that's great. Well, we don't have a ton of time left here. So, Patrick, somebody wants to engage with you. What's your email so that somebody could reach out to you?
Thanks, Dave. That's fairly easy. If you can see my name on the screen, it's P Clancy. My parents spell it with Clancey at focalpointcoaching.com.
That's great. Well, everybody, thank you. And whether you think that you'd like to explore both the business roundtable with fellow CEOs and like-minded business owners helping you with moving your business forward, or a business coach like Patrick, I just encourage you to take action, because I know there are many things that are keeping you up at night. And thank you for your attention. Take care now.